Howdy folks, welcome to another Final Fantasy Friday here at Rudrose Entertainment, and today with Opus 21 wrapping up, Opus 22 not too long, far around the corner. Feel like we got a pretty decent idea of the meta, just kind of wanted to go over the cards, see what some of the hits and misses were, what cards really lived up to their potential, which ones fell apart. So let's waste no more time and get right into it. Starting with Ward. Ward definitely proved himself in both warrior lists with Tyvis and Magisa. He's a free target off of both of those. I don't know if you ever really want to free cast him a whole lot, but just as an EX burst and again, play him for free, he's good. Edgar showed up pretty well. Pretty much, I think he was exclusively used to bring out either another backup such as Lena or Zidane from hand, the Fire Wind multi-element one. He did want to do... Cyan really turned around on this card the more I played with it. Not that I was ever like super sour on it, but I just appreciate his versatility. He goes in the Warrior of Light deck as a 3-cost. Again, he's a Magista target. And it's nice that at his worst, you can just pitch him for CP. And at his best, he can generate all the crystals he needs by himself. You know, presumably you're always aiming for that board wipe. And that is really nice. Again, that flexibility that you don't have to stuff him in a deck full of other crystal generators to really make the payoff. Yes, he becomes more expensive, but it's there if you need it, so Cyan's quite good. All these crystal gen backups proved especially good in the wall deck, as you don't tend to play a ton of backups, and if you do hit them early, not only are you getting the crystal for cards like Cyan or Glaciella or whatever your preferred payoff is, but also the card draw is really nice. I would be curious to know if they show up in a more quote-unquote fair deck where you're like naturally trying to curve out to 5 backups. That I don't know, but in the Warrior of Light deck, very, very good. Shadow, tried a few times. He's fine. He's not amazing. He kind of just lived up to what I thought, whereas like, I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about this card. One, he conflicts with the backup name clash, so that's no good. If we get different name backups in 6, you could definitely put him out there, but even then, like at his best... I don't know. It's just like if you're playing your hand out, it's nice because you essentially just draw 2 and they can't Amaterasu it, and he's a big body. But if you're not, like that deck can draw a ton of cards and you end with 5 in hand, and I don't think you want to discard that hand size to go to 2. So yeah, I don't know. He's just weird. He's kind of a weird card. Who else? Tyvis was as insane and powerful as I expected him to be. On entry, incredible ability, go search out the warrior you want, even if they Amaterasu that. If you have one in hand, you can just play it immediately anyway. So, yeah, just what a card. What a card. Neon, all the Strangers at Paradise stuff, I'll just say together, I surprisingly haven't seen much of these. Maybe not surprising, maybe folks just weren't that interested in them. Maybe it's not as straightforward as what kind of deck they go in. I think they all read fine, just, yeah. I just haven't seen them. Haven't seen them much. This Bahamut is very good, especially if you pay for 3. It doesn't feel as good paying 5 for it. So it kind of echoes just what I thought about it at the start of the set. Phil Thanos, I tried a few times. I've seen other people try. I've never seen it. I have never seen someone hit a burst and then take 3 damage. So yeah, it's, I don't know. Cool idea. Love the idea of the card. Just obviously too expensive. Let's see. And Leftia, yeah, haven't really seen any of these. Leftia is good, even better than I first thought. I kind of said this in my Winter Cup video. I didn't realize if your fire or summon or fire character you control deals damage. When I first read that, I kind of just instinctualized that as ability damage. Oh, okay, your summons and abilities get bumped up, similar to the Ifrit Primal from Opus 14. But it says character. So your 7k Cyan can swing, and if he's blocked by a 9k, he'll trade up with it because he'll do another 2,000. So insanely powerful, really good effect on damage 3 as well, as it essentially is an 8k nuke on a 2-cost body. Like, wow. I thought it was good when I first saw it, and it's even better because I didn't really realize that's how the character effect worked. So what a card. What a card. Red Mage, I haven't seen anyone use the party effect, but I have seen folks use it just for the entry, just as essentially a second Lastwell, another version of Doll Freeze. Astos still has an incredible crystal effect, but you're going heavy on the crystals. Ultimisha is pretty much what I thought she would be. Really good in Verstale. A good freebie off of Griever, although the single free, single discard she tends to get not incredible. Haven't seen these. Griever, he pretty much still, I think, fell right where I expected him after the initial evaluation, that he really does remind me of Neo X-Death. The earlier he comes down, the better. If you can abuse him with things like Rosa and Sage, where you're getting multiple discards in a turn, it's just brutal. He can win the game on his own. But if he comes later in the game, or they have the right element, aka water, that can just nullify what he does entirely, then it just feels absolutely terrible. So yeah, I don't know. I really wish, man, I wish we would have seen the deck that Kaka made for Worlds, the Ice Water one, because he was running this, and I would have, and I know it went 4-0, he went undefeated with it, so I would have loved to have seen it in action. So wish we could. Yeah, it's very, very dominant in the right situation, and not so much out of beyond that. Shiva's way better than I first thought. I didn't really value how good the recursion effect is. Like, the initial one for Adolphus on a character is like fine, but when you're doing that aggressive ice and you are discarding a bunch of cards, being able to have this repeatable summon is very nice. And again, you're not really recurring your cards in that deck anyway, so yeah, that recursion effect is super strong. The Waft stuff was all cute and fun, Snow's good, but it just feels very outdated at this point. Setzer, I've seen people use him in Warrior of Light. I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually cast the cards that he removes. But I also haven't seen anyone playing Ice Wind this Opus, so I feel like he has a better home there. Don't know. The Terra I've seen in some of the ice decks, but I never saw someone actually like use it. But like in theory, it should be good, right? This card's obviously generically good. I heard some people liked Reaper. I never saw it personally. Lufenian is way better than I thought. Again, when I first evaluated her, I was evaluating her and like, oh, in a standard deck, you're trying to get to 5 backups, and then if you don't see her first, she just doesn't do anything. That's not good. But in those mono ice aggro decks we saw, you know, you're not really playing backup. So if you're playing this single backup to get them to discard, followed by a Rufus, that feels good. You developed a backup and a forward and got 2 cards out of their hands. Woo! And Ursan Arbiter is just fine. He wasn't in any of those mono ice lists. I think Ishtola, which she's still not on here. Ishtola is very good. I don't know why she's not on here. She's even better than I first thought. It's not having to target an active or a dull forward like Ice normally does is just huge. So Ishtola is definitely the preferred form of removal over this card. And if you think about it too, this breaks anything if they have an empty hand, right? But if they have an empty hand, Ishtola also deals 9,000 damage to them, which pretty much kills almost anything in the game. There are very few things that 9,000 is not going to kill. So yeah, it makes sense why you would just play Ishtola over the Ursan Arbiter. She's cheaper. She can attack immediately. She can still do something even if their hand isn't empty. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense why he didn't end up showing up a whole lot. Moving on to Wind, I'll talk about Vaughn and Balthier and Pinello all together. I haven't seen anyone use them. The few people I've seen running some Wind type stuff, they were just running all the traditional package of Lulu, Luso. So these cards didn't read overly impressive to me, but again, I haven't really seen anyone use them. So maybe they are good, or maybe they're like good by themselves, but they don't compare to the other Wind stuff, or maybe they're just not good. I don't know. So Vieira, I know Ghoul absolutely loves this card, and it just showed why. It's quite good. The action effect is especially good if you need to clear a backup slot for Shantoto like you did in his deck, or just wanted to get that deeper draw. That's a good one. Very solid. Princess Goblin was obviously very good. It's so funny that this card came out, and most people thought of searching the Warrior of Light with it, and it barely got used. Most people preferred the Water Shell package with the other Sarah, the Sarah FFL at 6 cost, and then the 4 cost Aria. So they gave it a searcher, and just I mean, still great to search out this backup, but just didn't not the preferred searcher for those Warrior Light decks, at least most of them. Princess Sarah, I still really like it. Just the fact that it's searchable, I think, makes it good, and its text is kind of just a bonus. Let's see. Didn't really see any of the Chaos stuff. Didn't see a lot from the Wind deck. Machina was a very average upgrade to Cadets. It really speaks more to the fact that the other Machinas are not very good than the fact that he's good. It was very easy to get him online, but he was just a 3k haste that can't be chosen by, or a 3,000 power increase. So he's an 8k haste that can't be chosen by summons for 2. And that's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that, but it was hard to ever get his special to line up. And so he essentially was just an attacker. You know, he just, and if they had another 8K blocker or a 9K, then he couldn't get through those anyway. So, and he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him, but he didn't improve the deck by any means. Didn't give it any new angle. Didn't see the Riku much, but surely she's got to be good in wind, right? Ursula, I saw a few folks using in just the kind of category 4 crystal package. I don't know how well she performed there. I just know she was in those decks for more slots. Ingus. So at the start of the Opus, my friend Dalton and he really tried to make a mono earth deck work. And Ingus is clearly good in mono earth. Just the main problem being, well, what are you playing mono earth for? And when he would put down the Ingus, you know, 3 cost, 2 cost, 1 cost, 4 cost, he honestly doesn't feel terrible as a 4 cost that you tap 2 backups, pitch 1 thing, put him down, gets to replace himself. The problem is just like, what do you search out? Like, I don't even know what your target is. Neo X Death's too expensive. Robel Akbel would be good, but you have to then have crystals. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the Opus 14 Cloud. Like, there's no, to me, clear banger earth card. Like, Galuf was the answer sometimes. The legend from, what was it, 2-3 sets ago now? I think it was Opus 18. That, you know, when he attacks, he deals damage based on his power. He's great in some matchups, but if they're playing water or ice, and they just bounce him or dull freeze him, then he's meaningless. Yeah, against fire, he's incredible. But, so, Ingus, great card. He just, man, we need a really strong, obvious earth target for him to go search out. I actually built a deck around this Galuf 2, around all 2 costs. It was cute. It was fun. Nothing huge about it. Kieran seemed fine. Saw a few people run that. Didn't see Titan come up a whole lot. Yeah, in this card, it's weird. It reads so well, and it's exactly what I said with Eureka. 9K to any forward, no restrictions. That's strong. Any dull forward, break it. That's strong. And it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it's an earth thing, or I think Eureka described it, I thought, well, that just doesn't change anything. Like, having that card suddenly doesn't make the deck have access to something it didn't, so I don't know. Tulian, I played around with a few warrior packages, same with the Havev. Like, they're fun. They are fun if you get them all online together. He says they can't be broken. You know, power can't be increased. He kind of forces... It's all a cute package, but you really saw people more lean into fire with Tyvis. Just Tyvis, go get the fire stuff, get Yuzuki, get Ward, get stuff that just does something immediate on impact, Axstar being a huge one. So Neo X Death is... Honestly, I thought I saw it more as a stabilizer, like you're losing the game and you drop it and you clear out their entire board, but it was honestly more commonly used as a finisher, that when you're going for game, you just drop it to just wipe out the entire board. Now suddenly they don't have 3 monsters that can block, which is really nice. And I do like that they made it so that if he gets Amaterasu, which I saw a few times, you don't have to sack the backups. But man, he's just so expensive. Yeah, I think that's the issue, is that he's a good finisher, but that implies you're in a position to win the game and you can spend those resources. If you're trying to use him to stabilize, he's just terrible. Like, it's just way too costly to pay 8 and to have to lose 2 backups to knock the board out. So yeah, a cool idea. We definitely need more board-wide monster hate, but yeah, he ended up just being a bit pricey for stabilization. Let's see, Lich. This card, again, we tried this originally in the mono earth deck. It's just kind of so weird. So you have to control 7 or more earth. He counts himself. If he dies, you can discard a card. If you do, put him back onto the break zone, right? When he enters the field, choose a forward opponent controls. It gains at the end of each of your turns, break this forward. It gains at the end of each. This effect does not end at the end of the turn. At the end of each. And I still don't like, is that referring to your turn or is that referring to your opponent's turn? Because if the forward gains it, so if I have, you know, a cryo on my field, my cryo says at the end of each of your turns, break. So that implies the person who owns the cryo, right? Yeah, and I think that's what, I think I misread it originally. At the end of each of your turns, I originally thought, oh, I'm playing this. You play the Lich, at the end of the turn it breaks. That's solid. No, what it means is they have till the end of their turn, and then it breaks. So, again, maybe good if you can use his discard effect to bring him back onto the field, but sometimes you'd be dead before you could even get that many characters. Cool idea, just didn't work out in practice. Lightning got some fun stuff. Irvine, just very generically good. I don't know if I don't know if he necessarily changed anything about Lightning in the sense of like, oh, now it does this thing it couldn't before, because he's essentially like a souped up Alba, but I always really liked Alba, so I'll take a souped up Alba. Yeah, he was good. I know Ghoul would always go on about the special. I never even saw anyone use the special. Like, it reads really well, right? Any forward monster, 5 or less, that should hit a majority of things in the game. Just didn't see it come up much, but cool card. Fit in a lot of places. Just again, he could fit in Warrior of Light. He could fit in with the Scions. So yeah, very solid. Ace, I still am not a just. It's not that the card is bad. Clearly, an on attack and entry draw is very good, and then you can kind of combat trick a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think he's in a great package. Again, I just don't think cadets are really there. And he conflicts with other aces, so. Man, if they would, I would love to see a set where they just give all 14 members of the cadets. I'll just jump to Queen really quick, talk about that as well. Yeah, same. Like, this is the first card she's had since Opus 3, and it's just so average that a 3-cost haste, when she's attacking, only when she's attacking, she gains this specific thing. It's not even until the end of the turn, so the moment she's no longer attacking, it's not even effective. You can get it before she attacks. Yeah, it's so, like, man, someone on the team must hate cadets. I don't know. Maybe one day, but I'm not holding my breath for that. So, yeah, she was a bit of a disappointment. I mean, I wish, like, why couldn't she have given the ace haste? You know, that, oh, Queen and ace come out together, and then they both go. That would have felt strong. Odin was good. Felt better if you got the card draw, of course, but it just anything that hates on monsters, not bad. Gestalt was solid. Cloud was cute in the WAF package, but again, the package as a whole just wasn't really there. I've heard this Man in Black was quite good, especially against stopping aggro. Zondi, I don't know why Zondi felt like such a disappointment. It just, I don't know, when I played him, he just didn't seem to deliver the way that reading him. And granted, now I'm looking at it from the perspective of you always want to get the recursion, because if you're just getting a break, 5 for a break isn't, I mean, it's not terrible, but the going rate for a break has been about 4 for a while. Unless you're paying 1 extra, yeah, you're getting a body out of it. Like, yeah, I don't know. Or maybe just Lightning just isn't super strong. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this guy. It just didn't feel great to play. Trey is unequivocally good. I'd like to see more stuff like this for cadets. The 9 is solid too. Like, it's a solid card, a repeatable action ability, which is really nice, but conflicts with the removal 9. And again, if they have something that depends on like attacking, he's really good, but in the wrong matchup, if they've got twins, they don't care that you dull the twins. They're just going to keep, you know, he doesn't get rid of them. He just stops them for a moment. So Furion, I heard, could be good, but I never really saw it myself. And moving on to water. Gao, monsters fell out of favor a bit this set, but Gao is clearly strong when monsters were good. And I did see a few decks that did use it. Yeah, he's just as kind of strong as you expect him to be. Sage was just another form of Rosa, but when you can use something like Griever to abuse that, having another Rosa is not a bad thing. Astrologen was good. It's, you know, take your pick what you like better, Astrologen, Loporit, but they both do similar things. And they both buff Garahatia for Scions if you're doing that route, so very solid, good card. Ninja, I got to see this in the Crystal deck Tori Kelly ran with those monsters and the Tidus. Pretty good, that so you can back attack him, you pay the Ninja, that he only costs 2 now, bounces a forward, now you trigger Tros and the Tidus, and then you refund the Crystal. Like, what a cool combo. I don't know if he's going to fit anywhere outside of that, but for that specific combo, like, that was cool. The Pirates as a whole, I tried them. They just felt like they just didn't do anything. BK definitely felt like the best one. But again, he's still just a body. Like, and getting to play him for free felt fine. But having to pay 4 for him, that did not feel good at all. The Ferris, I just don't know what they were thinking with this card. Like, it needed to present some kind of a threat to if you were going to give it that level of protection. And just a bunch of 8Ks isn't much of a threat. Same with the Layla, like, it's cool at Search It, but I saw people just running the old Layla. Like, nah, it's more value to just rip the Viking back onto the field right away. So, I mean, I'm glad they tried, but this just wasn't it. So, hopefully they give more support in the future. Larsa's pretty good generic searcher. Lena, the MVP of water. What a card. Lena just cannot get bad cards. 2 incredible relevant jobs. EX Burst itself, and then it punishes your opponents for getting EX Burst. And the raise with no restrictions on it other than it comes onto the field dull, but it's any 3 cost or less, any turn, not limited to any phases. Like, holy moly, what a card. What a card. And finally, the stars of our show, or the star of the show, Mr. Warrior of Light himself. What a guy. I remember when I saw this, like, I kind of say, yeah, you know, it sounds like more kind of Unga Bunga aggro, you know, you'd play, but man, Unga Bunga aggro, quite good. And it oddly, it benefited from being a light card. That if this was a certain color, like let's say this was an earth card, you then now need specific things to support it. You have to have Earth CP to cast it, but because he was light, if you search him out with your Princess Goblin, your Sarah, whatever, you can play him next turn. There is no, I've got to see the right color, so you can play these super multicolored decks, and there's no bricking on him because you can play him with anything. And then Ultimate Shield, I really overlooked how strong that would be. Just your entire board, your entire forward lineup just cannot be targeted by anything for the cost of a single card. That's insane. That is so strong. I mean, is there anything else in the game that even works that way, that gives board-wide protection? Usually it protects one specific thing, but just say, yeah, this forward can't be chosen, or myself can't be chosen. No, just everything on the board can't be chosen. Woo! Super strong, super strong. And not to be outdone, his hero buddy, Sky Serpent General Ruggagine, the glory of aggro players everywhere. Turn 1 with him and Rufus, turn 1 Lastwell, turn 1 with him and Zidane, just turn 1 with anything that wants to get an attack trigger, and Ruggagine is your guy. Being able to give those effects to something else is, again, just something I didn't quite appreciate when I first saw it. Oh, right, it's Warrior of Light at home, but no, giving something else haste and brave and first strike and all that power. And again, I think he benefits from being light. If he was a fire card, and you can't just play him in any deck. Now, okay, well, you can't play him in Mono Ice. You can't play him in Water or whatever you want. He's got to fit this certain archetype, but now that he's light, jam him anywhere. Darkness Manifest is, I think these are actually ordered correctly. I think they get, slightly less seen and less useful, although both the light ones were bangers. Darkness Manifest was very good. The only time I saw him was in Soirees, or basically that 4-color Warrior of Light kind of deck, but he was really good there. Again, I don't think you ever want to pay 7 for him, but paying 2 is great. And the fact that no matter how they get rid of him, he's at least going to take something out with him. So even if they get him right away, you get to take out whatever the worst forward, monster, backup, whatever it is. And then that clock he puts you on too. Hey, here's this extra point of damage. He's a cool card. I really liked this one. And poor Jack Garland, Mr. Signature himself, but just didn't see many folks running Strangers of Paradise package. Doesn't mean it wasn't good. Maybe it's weird to have them all tied to a dark card. Maybe it's just the package itself is just too limited right now. Maybe once it gets more cards in the future, it'll be better. Don't know, but yeah, just did not see it much for being the big, like, what the set was kind of featured, themed, and named after. Strangers of Paradise didn't show up. So there you go. That's Opus 21. Kind of my thoughts on the cards at the end of it. Not much really changed. Most everything kind of lived up to where I thought it would be near the start of the Opus. Other than Warrior of Light, I definitely undervalued that card, and man, did he show up big. Big star of this Opus. So we'll see if he sticks around. Final Fantasy Opuses have been a bit strange lately, that super powerful stuff like this will sometimes just disappear after one time. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subs. What do you think? Any of this stuff will disappear like the Warrior of Light, or you think it's gonna be here to stay until it essentially gets power crept by something else? I appreciate you watching. Until next time, take care.